Hello, everyone. So this is Professor Steve Mendoza here. We're going to go over week 8 business activity. The sky's the limit. This activity has two parts. Please complete all questions in both parts. Part 1, use the information from Chapter 12 of your textbook to explore why accounting plays such an important role in business. So who uses accounting information? Again, I'm not going to go over the answers. This is for you all to do your research on. But again, accounting is often called the language of business. It's impossible to run a business effectively without accounting because it provides critical insights into a company's financial performance. Owners, managers, and investors use this information to evaluate company success and make informed decisions. And then these stakeholders rely on accounting because the company's performance directly affects them. Again, there's two different styles of, or two different fields of accounting: management accounting and financial accounting. And then really as the textbook states, like management accounting helps you keep your business running, while financial accounting helps how you while financial accounting tells you how well you're running it. Again, for those key stakeholders, feel free to kind of elaborate on why they specifically use it or how they use it. So for owners and managers, they use it to make strategic decisions and measure business performance. And again, there's other ones: investors, creditors, government agencies. Please explain kind of how and why they use accounting information. Next question is, what do they use it for, and why do they find it helpful? Really important question. Go over to the same kind of individuals that were discussed in the first question, but go into more depth in terms of why do they find it helpful. Let's just go over one of them. Owners and managers. They use accounting to create budgets, plan for growth, and address financial issues. One of them that wasn't mentioned before, but is also a key stakeholder here, is like government agencies. They use accounting data for compliance with financial regulation and tax laws. Go through each of the constituents and kind of explain why do they find it helpful. What problems would arise if management wasn't provided with accounting information? Ooh, think about this. If you're running a business but you don't have visibility into the numbers, how are you going to determine what's working, what's not working? Are you going to have a high probability of success or high probability of failure? Think about for your relationship with government agencies. If you're not having the right financial tools and right accounting systems, then you could fall behind with taxes or fail to know how much you should be paying your employees. Without accurately tracking income expenses, financial management failure is really inevitable. Further discuss this in this section. Now, this is probably a section that many of y'all will have questions on. Part 2, use information from chapter 13 of your textbook to explore how people research and make investment decisions. This part will take some time, so be sure you start early. Step 1, consider the scenario. You have $100,000 in hypothetical capital for a short-term investment. There is, however, a catch. You have to spend the money on airline stocks. Rather than fly by the seat of your pants, you want to do research on a number of stocks. Part 2 is research the airline industry. Read the article about investing in airline stocks. 10-minute read. Choose 3 different airline companies from the list below. Be sure to include low-cost airlines as well as large carriers. The following links provide access to information on yahoo.com finance. Now, before we even begin to complete the table, every homework assignment has always been for you all. Investing is such an important part of your life if you want to pursue a career in business. This is a really, really important assignment. The assignments are done for you, not for me. If you choose to invest again, we're dealing with hypothetical here. If you're more interested in other industries outside of airline stocks, that's fine. If you want to swap out Delta Airlines for companies you're more interested in within a specific industry, totally fine with me. But for purposes of this assignment, um, and for this example, we're just going to be looking at kind of airline stocks. First one is Delta Airlines. So let's just say list Delta here. You can go on Wikipedia to find the brief description, and then you're looking at the percent of change in revenue over the last fiscal year. Now, percent like revenue is just the formula for revenue is just price times quantity. Look at the growth rate from one year to the next, or decline potentially from one year to the next. You can look up yahoo.com. I actually personally like using Google Finance. If you look at Google Finance Delta stock, the percentages are actually already done for you. So it'll tell you year 2 divided by year 1 minus 1. That will tell you the percent change. And then, as a rule of thumb, the higher revenues, the better. Now, this is percentage change in net income over the last fiscal year. Again, using the same growth rate percentage of year two divided by year one minus one. Think about it. Think about it like this. Would you want your selected stock to be higher or better? Sorry, the your selected stock to have a profit that's higher or lower? Of course, higher. So the higher the net income, the better. That's one kind of rule of thumb that you can have in the back of your mind as you're looking through this stuff. So now for Delta Airlines, you look at the current earnings per share. And again, you can spot this from Google Finance Delta by searching up Delta, and it'll tell you what the current earnings per share is. Earnings per share is basically the net income divided by the number of shares. And the rule of thumb that you should have here is the higher a company's earnings per share, the more profitable. Um, and then lastly, the current PE ratio. For those that don't know, PE ratio is the stock price divided by the earnings per share. And a rule of thumb that you should keep in mind here is a high PE ratio could mean that a company's stock is overvalued, or that investors expect high growth rates. And then lastly, the current stock price. Stock price changes every single, basically, second, minute when the market is open. Do this analysis for, again, three different airline companies if you choose to continue doing research on airline companies, and then try to figure out some high level trends. What are you seeing with changes in revenues and profits? And then look at these kind of different values. Some hints for finding this information. Again, I feel free to read through this, but again, I prefer to use Google Finance over Yahoo Finance. And then lastly is step three, invest your money. So use the table below to document your choice of hypothetical stock purchase. You may choose one airline or multiple. Be sure to spend most of your $100,000. Add or delete rows if necessary. And if you have to go back a week and check your picks, did the price go up or down? Away from the numbers here, you know, core investment 101, buy low, sell high. When you are going to be buying into stocks, the goal is that you buy at a price that's pretty low. And then over time, if you believe in the company's strategy, the stock price may go up. Again, stock price changes are a function of supply and demand. The more people invest into a stock, the higher the stock price goes. Again, if you're going to be investing, you're effectively going to be investing at a low price point because you believe the stock price is going to go up, and once it's up, that's when you decide to sell. That's what this chart is basically telling you. Again, let's say you invested in Delta Airlines X amount of money into this. You're going to identify what the price per share is at a certain point and what the price is going to be at 1 week out. Hopefully, you've done your research and again, you align to the company strategy, or there's other additional resources and information you're able to find online that kind of shows you why this stock at a certain point is undervalued and why it's going to be growing in the future. Hopefully, you see a positive change over a week. And then that way you kind of see effectively if you were to invest X amount of dollars into a specific company, what the change would be. And then basically, use your research from your reports and make a 3 to 5 sentence argument defending your choices. Your argument may include opportunities for the company, potential threats the airline may encounter, and the outlook. Use industry-wide considerations and knowledge. Again, this is probably one of the most time-consuming assignments of the term, but it's definitely the most important because I encourage you all to really invest. And understand the basics of investing. So with that, if you have any further questions, feel free to email me, but hopefully this was helpful. And next week we'll go over the week 9 business activity.